buying and selling small SaaS businesses. Today we have our guest Stuart Fott joining us. Stuart is the founder and CEO of MiniHorse, where he helps first-time founders transition from corporate life to a SaaS business owner through their ready-to-scale SaaS business opportunities. Stuart focuses on helping entrepreneurs acquire and grow software businesses as long-term assets. He also has built and sold more than 20 SaaS businesses and has firsthand experience across the full journey from building, operating, and exiting software companies. So, super excited to have you on the show today, Stuart.
Akil, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, tons of experience. I think we have a lot of overlap. You've bought companies, built companies, exited, and now you're selling pre-built companies. But I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you can just share. You have a huge, experience of selling companies. What have you learned? Maybe some key lessons from building and selling over 20 SaaS businesses, and what really makes a small SaaS business attractive to buyers if someone is interested to sell as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just give you a brief background. Basic, first job out of college, I went to work for a dental software company. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, remember the old movie Office Space by chance? You ever catch that one,
No,
Akil?
it doesn't come to mind. No.
Office Space. No, it's a comment. It's a good one. Anyways, it's kind of like a meme movie for uh, like corporate jobs. And anyways, picture like the nightmare corporate job, like cubicle. That was me. I was there for like a year or two and just absolutely, knew I was not cut out for corporate life and was always kind of entrepreneurial and working at that big dental software company. I thought like, this dental space is kind of interesting. Hate the corporate thing, but I wonder if I can kind of create something for dental office. And so heard about SEO, back in the day when that was a newer thing, and decided to start my own, SEO agency for dentists. And then ran around. I got, signed up a couple of hundred dental practices and was helping them with their web marketing. And I thought, man, this is awesome. Like this is really cool. But really, what these need is just a simple way to get a review from their patients. And so this was before like a lot of other reputation companies came about, and I launched one of the first reputation software companies from that point. And then over the next handful of years, through trial and error, I went and signed up a couple of thousand, local businesses to help them with their online reviews. And then around 2018, had the opportunity to sell the business. And at that point, I was, pretty burnt out and ready to do something, take a step away, and so sold the business. Took a couple of years off. During the COVID period, started hearing about a platform called Micro Acquire, which is now Acquire, and started following Andrew Gazdecki, who has been a guest a couple of times on your podcast, and really just resonated with his content because I had just gone through the acquisition, and I knew like, hey, it's difficult to find a buyer. It's like kind of this unknown thing to be able to do, build and sell a company, a software company. And so
Yeah.
really resonated with the content. As time went on a little bit, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. Like, I wonder if I can take everything I've learned and build and sell like a smaller version of what I built on Microwire. And so, just as kind of an experiment, put together a business with everything I knew. Ran out. I got 100K in ARR within a couple of months, and then posted on Acquire, and then sold it, within like 30 to 60 days on Acquire for 500K. And I thought that was crazy. Like I didn't realize there was like this demand for these small software companies. And so that kind of was like my light bulb moment. And then I wondered like, all right, I don't know if this is a fluke or if maybe I could do this again. And so I repeated the process, new brand, different vertical, similar business, different platform, and and again went out, different price point. This time I got it to 50K ARR, and then sold very quickly for, I think it was a 5x. And I thought, interesting. And then over the last handful of years, kind of just stayed in that lane. Go and I'd build a software company up to 50 to 100K ARR, and then essentially put it in a box, go to acquire and sell it, find a buyer. And then through that experience, what I learned was, man, there's a lot of people that want software companies, and they're super, skilled in certain areas, but in kind of the basics of running a SaaS business, they have no idea. Like, for example, like, how do I onboard? What is onboarding? Go get a customer. Maybe it's a technical buyer that is less proficient in sales. How do I go get a customer? How do we build a partner program? Kind of all these things that guys that have been doing it for a while sort of take for granted. Like, hey, yeah, this is common knowledge, but
Mhm.
if you don't learn it, you don't know it. And so yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
Man, that's great. So you've done it once, found that it worked, and not only did you do it once, you then went out and proved that you can repeatedly do it, right? And you've taken it to with multiple SaaS companies. Seems like different verticals is where the which I'm a huge fan of as well, is going down the vertical path, finding the right vertical, and just doubling down and selling to that market, and being the best in that area. So you found it,
Totally.
you repeated it, you sold it many times, and yeah, Acquire is great for buying companies, selling companies, and Andrew is an awesome founder as well. Um, maybe for now you
Totally.
help, from my understanding, with Mini Horse, you help founders who want to also have follow that similar journey, have their own company, build it to as far as they want to take it, and then if they want, they can also exit for a pretty healthy um, return. Now, for other people who are maybe thinking, right, like, okay, I can buy existing SaaS companies, right? There's why should I think about owning an existing small SaaS business as a first time entrepreneur versus starting completely from scratch, especially now maybe with AI. People are able to build
Mhm.
software on their own.
Sure, sure. So, I mean, gosh, like, I know there's so many different moving parts
Hmm.
to creating like a proper legitimate business, right? So there's, everything from, creating a proper brand that when someone looks at you online, they think this is a real company, right? So it's like, how do I create a brand guide so that all of my stuff looks legit? Everything from creating a legitimate brand to the code, finding a development team. Yeah, with AI, it's amazing, what we're able to do, but still, I'm a non-technical guy. Most of my buyers are non-technical. They're looking for something that they can kind of just get off the ground right away, avoid all the hassle, all the building, and just start selling. But yeah, there's
Hmm.
just so much to it. There's creating brands, there's creating the ebooks, the white papers, the platform, the processes, finding product market fit, choosing vertical, all the things that go into it that could take, years or months, even with AI. So I think that, anyone that ends up acquiring a business is smart, and they're avoiding a lot of headaches and a lot of hassle.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we were talking before the show, right? Like the learning curve is just you reduce that tremendously, right? The risk of starting any company, a SaaS company, whether you're technical or not. I mean, I think being able to find product market fit, grow it, and know how to sell it and manage it well is totally different. So you're probably saving them a lot of, not only a lot of money, but a lot of time, to get to that path of success a lot earlier. So uh, yeah, that makes sense. And speaking
Totally.
about, we're talking
Totally.
about the verticals. A lot of people, when they do start their SaaS companies, and I imagine a lot of listeners do, they don't really think about selling to a single vertical. They're probably just hey, we have this product, it works. Let's go and sell it to whoever is willing to buy it. Why do you like vertical SaaS, and
Yeah.
how do you identify like this is the right niche? Let's choose this vertical and let's build a SaaS specifically around this market. What's your thought process there, if you can share?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm a huge fan of vertical SaaS. So with my previous experience, building a reputation company, couple thousand users, just bootstrapped it. I was running around for years, just basically working with all kinds of local businesses. And so, I always tell people I've worked with everyone from, flower shops to Ferrari dealerships and everyone in between. And through that experience, I learned like, every vertical is different. The people in those verticals are different. They pay different prices. They speak different languages, right? And some people you enjoy, some people you don't enjoy. And so
Hmm.
when it comes, to choosing, I always recommend, like, hey, pick a space that you're familiar with. Pick a space that you're familiar with, that you understand, that you like, um, you have some domain expertise in, and think about like, hey, if I'm going to be hanging out and selling to these people, potentially for years, am I going to want to hang out with these people? Do I
Right.
understand? Do I like these people? And then I start to think like, okay, do they have the budget for what I'm selling? Right? Because you
Hmm.
can sell the same product again to a Ferrari dealership for $500 a month where they don't bat an eye, or you can go into a flower shop and you can't get $10 a month from the flower shop, right? And so you got to think,
Right.
do they have the budget? This space? Then it becomes fun. The other reason I really like vertical SaaS is because every growth guy has their favorite, growth channel. For me is partnerships. I love growing businesses through partnerships. And what I've learned is serving everyone as I'm going to create partnerships, then people are a lot less responsive and a lot less excited to and partnership deals with me. But if I can say, hey, partner that I'm reaching out to on LinkedIn, we're in kind of small neuro space. There's not many of us. Let's get together and talk about how we can help each other grow. It's almost like a 99% like response rate situation. And so,
Mhm.
for partnership potential, and it's just really great early stage growth. But then looking out a few years, it just creates a stickier, relationship with you and your customers, right? If you're going deep into a niche, you know, you can be the guy or gal that, does the integrations that are in that narrow niche that maybe the bigger players haven't thought to do or have no interest in doing. And it just a lot of opportunities to create a really sticky tool if you're in a vertical. So yeah, I love vertical SaaS. I think it's the way
Yeah.
to go.
Absolutely. Um, so let's say you decided to buy a software company, you decided on the vertical, you know where you want to focus, and you decide to move forward. I'm going to be a first time founder, I'm ready to make that transition. What do you tell this founder, and how do you take this early stage SaaS from zero? We have a product now, we're ready to sell it. To let's say its first 500K in ARR, which you mentioned you've done as well, and you've sold to, including what does your creative
Mhm.
sales strategy look like? What does that partnership model look like to really accelerate the growth?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in like just keeping it really, really simple. So have a really, really simple offer and just focus on one growth channel. So like I mentioned, big fan of the partnerships, right? But it's like when I look back in my early days, before I even realized like, hey, partnerships are a thing, um, you know, you know what I did to grow? So every day I went outdoor and I bought 2,000 two dozen donuts from Krispy Kreme, and then I went to 15 dental offices every damn day. And every single day I went to 15 offices, and I knew I would talk to, you know, I would go into 15 offices, I would talk to 5 decision makers, and I would drive home with a signed contract. And so
Love it.
that was how I signed up hundreds and hundreds and thousands of software contracts and practices. It was just passing out 2 dozen donuts every single day.
Love it.
So a lot of hard work, got the job done. I look back and I'm like, how did I do that? I think it was just because I focused on one simple thing, but I did it relentlessly every
Hmm.
single day for a long time. And then, as time moved on, of course, I'm getting burnt out. I'm tired of that. I'm thinking there's got to be a better way. And And then I learn about partnership opportunities. And so now I think the big opportunity, as far as like I would recommend if someone brand new day one, you know, again, choose, that vertical, make it narrow, right? And then go and create a list of a couple of hundred people within that narrow niche that you think have access to the customers you're targeting, right?
Hmm.
And then systematically reach out to those people and then, qualify them, right? So for me, it's like, hey, do you have an email list? Are you full time? Those are my two qualifying questions. So if they're a full time person, that means they're serious. If they've got an email list, that means they have distribution. And then, it just becomes a game of, all right, I want to, reach out to these 200 people. Out of the 200, not everyone's going to be responsive, but I hope to get about 50 people on my team. And and then if I systematically reach out to them and have a system on how to nurture those and build those relationships, then I look at each potential partner as like 5 deals per year.
Mm.
And then I like to do different part, like, or, you know, webinars, or, one thing I like that I have never heard of anyone else doing. It's, hey partner, who are your top 5 like favorite clients that you work with that'll basically do kind of what you recommend and really trust, your opinion.
Hmm.
How many of those people do you have? And
Mm.
usually people will tell me, oh, I've got about 5. Cool. Well, I created this short training on, what we do. And, would you mind just shooting a text message to your top 5, customers and recommending they schedule a demo with me?
Mm.
And I can't tell you how successful just that one simple strategy has been through partnerships. But that's probably what I would do. I would just go all in on a partner channel and build those relationships, and it makes sales fun, actually, when you can warm up leads with good partnerships.
Absolutely. Now, what about other channels such as you mentioned, SEO, PPC, Google Ads, Facebook ads, and now even GPT ads? Have you found success through those sales channels? Are you recommending this to your clients as well who are buying and founders to say, hey, explore these channels because they work in your vertical, or does it depend on the vertical itself?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the vertical, but I think it more depends on the founder, and their
Mm.
personality type. So I always tell
Yeah.
my buyers, like, hey dude, if you're not into creating partnerships and like hanging out and talking with people, maybe partnerships aren't the right strategy. So I would connect with this SEO guy or gal and go deep on that. So yeah, I think it really depends on them. But me personally, I don't have much experience promoting my businesses with ads or SEO. I just haven't really had the need to go there, and it's just been a good fit for me to build through partnerships. And again, it's like my philosophy is, just do one thing, but go deep on that one thing and really go all on that one channel. And so that's what I've done my best to do with partnerships.
Love it. Yeah, that's a fantastic channel, and I think you're right. It has the
Yeah.
multiplication effect that they bring in their network. They already have the clients that you want, and as long as the offer makes sense to them and they have the trust, you're willing to promote yourself to them. So love it. And just like podcasts as well, right? Like we have, that's a great
Yeah,
channel as well. Yeah, yeah,
totally.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'd love to learn a little bit more about Mini Horse. So that's your company, minihorse.ai, where you sell these, ready to scale SaaS businesses, right? Which we talked about. If somebody's thinking about becoming a first-time founder, becoming a SaaS business owner. Maybe they have a company, maybe they're an entrepreneur already, but they want to, consider shifting to SaaS or buying through your model. Can you talk a little bit more about what you guys do? Why did you create it, and how are you helping these first-time founders become SaaS business owners? If you could share a little bit about their stories and their success.
Yeah. Well, kind of went back to my, experience there. Just selling a bunch of SaaS businesses on Acquire. See the same, things over and over again. That, again, a lot of sharp people. They've had amazing careers up until this point, in corporate, and they've kind of reached the point where it's like, I'm sick of working for the man. I need to own an asset. And honestly, I have a lot of my buyers too that come back and, Stuart, I don't want to scale this to the moon. I just want a simple, like, lifestyle SaaS business that I can, make a couple hundred grand a year and just chill, replace my corporate job, and just do my thing. And so that's why, in SaaS we have, we've got the whole name, unicorn, right? And then we've got elephants. I'm coining the term mini horse, because a mini horse, it's a baby unicorn. It could grow up and be a unicorn, or it could live the fruit life as a mini horse. So just assets I've kind of learned through my experience on Acquire that my particular buyers are interested in, and 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 yeah, so that's sort of what inspired me to launch Mini Horse, is to create the perfect SaaS business for a first time SaaS founder and help him or her, replace 10 years of this crazy trial and error that I did, as I'm passing out 2 dozen donuts every day for years and trying to figure it out all alone by myself. I'm just convinced that so that they can have this perfect, ready to scale SaaS business that literally all you need to do is go and create a partnership program. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. You got a platform that is perfect. It's great. You can build on top of it, different tools and features, that are specific to the niche that you choose. But yeah, I mean, my buyers love it because again, there's this a big training component that comes into it, and it's not like you buy a business, you get the keys, and then it's like good luck, and you don't really know what to do. And so with my deal, it's more like a, hey, let's sort of build it together. Here, let's reposition the brand to whatever vertical you choose, and let's launch it. And I'm going to be around, kind of holding your hand for 90 days or more if needed, and I'll help you through those first handful of sales conversations. I'll help you get it off the ground, all that good stuff. And I think it's just a really unique buying experience for that first time SaaS founder that, again, they're qualified, the dream is there, but they don't know exactly how to do it. And so that's where Mini Horse comes in.
Yeah, I love it. I wish this existed, 12 years ago. I think it was more than 12 years ago that I bought my first online business. So I was probably your profile
So,
of entrepreneur. I was an engineer working in my office and,
interesting.
looking for online assets. And my first asset I think I bought was it was from Empire Flippers. It was a tool that was affiliate website and earning through SEO, right? So I learned through the SEO route and understood that world of building websites. And
Yeah.
I think I spent like 50K on that first business. But I would have loved at the time to have something like this available because it probably would have been a good fit. But curious to know, for people who are in this position, what is a typical profile of a founder like this? In finance, engineering, what's their typical role right now, and then what is their maybe some kind of capital they need to be thinking about? It's like, hey, I need to have this much capital to maybe get started here to be successful in like this kind of franchise model, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, usually my buyers are, late 20s, early mid 40s, done the corporate thing. A lot of them are coming from whether they were recently laid off, just looking to do something on the side and hopefully grow in that. And yeah, so lots of buyers that are in marketing, or in sales. I think people that have sales abilities are a really good fit because again, like, hey, everything's ready to grow, just go sell it. Um, and then as far as price point, it's a nice option because instead of going and kind of putting everything on the line, through an SBA loan and buying a really expensive asset that is carrying a lot of risk. For me, I charge 55K for a ready scale, and so essentially, that's it. We usually just do a one-time payment, 55K. That's it. They're on their way. I stick around for like a 90-day period to make sure they're off on the right start, and then I'm a resource going forward. Another cool thing is, took me years to get the right team around me. The right venture attorney, the right, tech team, the right designers, all those different, how do I get a VA? How do I hire a VA? All those kind of, important things.
Mhm.
And so that's all included. It all comes with the deals.
Love it. Yeah, like I said, that was probably what I paid for my
Yeah.
first website, around that 50K, cost for inflation. I think it would be a lot more today, but no, that's yeah, I probably would have been your perfect buyer back then. So love what you're doing. I think it's great. You're helping entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You're helping
Interesting.
entrepreneurs succeed, and that's great. I think if anybody's interested, I think it's a great model.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. So Stuart, this has been great. Ready to shift gears? Let's go to the rapid fire questions.
Let's do it, man. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right, Stuart. What's one activity you enjoy outside of work that gets you into a flow state?
Let's see. I mean, back in my glory days, I was a sponsored skateboarder, and so it was always skateboarding for me. It was just a fun way to like tune everything out. As I went into more grown man mode, I've converted to mountain biking. Do you mountain bike by chance?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I got my mountain bike right here.
So
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
love.
yeah.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I really love to mountain bike, and it's like crazy. I'm 45, and so like I can't believe, Akil, how much I'm loving going on these dad walks. I find myself going around my office and like I'll bail for like an hour or two and just go on these crazy walks. But I found that it's a good way to unwind and ponder a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would say anything from skateboarding to my dad walks.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, dad walks are great, and mountain biking definitely adventurous. I'd love to have to try that as well. Get back into it.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
Stuart, what's one piece of advice you wish you had known, and if you can go back, you would tell your younger self today, like everything you've learned?
Yeah, yeah. Man, I think it would be, I think it would just be get a mentor. It sounds so simple and so obvious, but I went
Yeah.
so many years like with no mentor, and so I was just
Mm.
kind of like this guy that was, driving blind. Thankfully I was taking a lot of action and I was very, ambitious and in go mode, but I didn't have a mentor guiding me in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, once I sort of tried to find a mentor, I I I I would go and get consulting and coaching from people that were in my space. So they weren't in
Mm.
SaaS. And so they would give me probably great advice for their niche, but terrible advice for mine. And so I would just say, like, if I could go back, I would just say, go get a mentor as soon as possible, and make sure it's a mentor in your space.
Love it. That's. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuart, what are some of the biggest challenges you're currently facing in order to continue to grow, your career and your business, Mini Horse today? Meaning, what keeps you up at night these days, if anything?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's keeping me up at night, but because I look at it as like a fun challenge. But for me, it's just right now that I'm launching, Mini Horse. It's just distribution, man. And
Mm.
so my thing is like, just back to the board of building partnerships and just getting distribution. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's what I'm working on.
Yeah, love it. Stuart,
Yeah.
who or what are some of the best three resources? We talked about books and mentors or people maybe you follow in the space who you'd say have been most instrumental to your success over these last few years and helped you, get to where you are.
Yeah, so back to the mentor thing. So my mentor is a guy by the name of John Richards. He's based in Utah, and kind of legendary angel investor, um, and really knows his stuff. Great guy. Owns a Ignition, and it's a boot camp. And I've attended that a handful of times. Like anyone looking to get into entrepreneurship, I would highly recommend his boot camp. So I'd say John Richards, Startup Ignition is a great resource. And then the guy that comes to mind is Andrew Gazdecki at Acquire. Like, just love his content, really resonate with his message. We share a lot of similar philosophies, and so I would say if you're not following Andrew, go ahead and do yourself a favor, follow Andrew Gazdecki. And then, like, a really simple book that was a game changer when I was, young and starting out was a book called Goals by Brian Tracy. And it's just a really, straightforward, simple book on how to properly think about goals and how to achieve goals. But yeah, I would recommend those 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, fantastic. All great resources, and we'll make sure to add them in the show notes for people to check it out, and make sure to follow Andrew as well.
Cool.
Stuart, what does success mean to you today? Whether that's personally, business, financially, life. I guess there's no right answer, but how do you define it today?
Yeah, for me, it's success is like, hey, is everything okay at home? Like, am I getting along with my wife? Am I getting along with my kids? Is everyone cool? Is everything normal? So it's like starts in the home, I think, for me. And then, am I doing stuff I want to be doing on a daily basis? Am I actually enjoying, my work? Or am I doing stuff that maybe I shouldn't be doing? I should outsource. I should get out of this space, get out of this business, right? And so I look at how are things at home? Things at home are great. How is my work life? And then it's just financial independence. I've never been the guy that I need to feel like I'm successful or anything crazy like that. But like, I want to be financially independent. I want to have all the stuff that I want to have. And so achieving my income goals. And I think that's when you have big goals and those 3 areas are aligned, life is super fun, and I don't know, it just keeps you engaged. So to me, that's sort of success. And if I were to boil it down, it's like progress. Am I progressing towards that ultimate vision of myself?
Yeah, moving towards your highest self, and like that's how you're aligned with success internally, right? Regardless of what everybody else thinks and how they present it. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
yeah,
love it.
For sure.
Yeah, Stuart, this has been awesome. Just to wrap things up, where can founders, anybody from our audience who are listening, get in touch with you, learn more about you, or learn more about MiniHorse as well?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Love hearing from people, whether you're looking for your first SaaS business, or maybe you have a SaaS business, you're looking to sell it, for some things you can do to get acquired. Like, love those conversations. You can go to minihorse.ai and schedule a strategy call, and we can get into it and see if it's a good fit for you. But yeah, minihorse.ai or LinkedIn is great.
Awesome. Perfect. So we'll add in Stuart's LinkedIn to the show notes. Make sure to connect with him, say hi. And if you have any questions about SaaS, he's the guy to reach out to. So thank you for your time, Stuart. I appreciate you jumping on the show today.
Yeah. Thank you, Akil. Appreciate it.